Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Nedarim, Parak Beis, Chapter 2. We're in the middle of Mishnah Beis, Mishnah 2, and we'll just read from the beginning, quickly going through what we did yesterday. Carbon lo yoichalach, if a person says, carbon, I will not eat that which is yours. Carbon sha'eichalach, or carbon, the carbon that I eat of yours. Loy carbon lo yoichalach, not a carbon, that which I don't eat of yours, mutter. In all these cases, the food is permitted. So basically, in each case, he was expressing, at least in some way, that somebody else's food should become forbidden to him. It's just that the first two expressions of carbon, carbon I will not eat of yours, or when he says carbon I will eat of yours, is that though the wording there is not the wording for a neder, it's the wording for a shvua. The connotation of this expression is, by the life of the carbon, I am basically swearing I will not eat of your food. Or by the life of the carbon, or by the life of a carbon, that we should eat of yours should be forbidden. Meaning by the life of a carbon, that's the second expression, carbon sha'echalach. There also, the wording carbon that I eat of yours, again, this expression really has a connotation of the life of a carbon that which I eat of yours, meaning to say, by the life of a carbon, I swear that your food is forbidden to me. So we say there, in those cases, nothing affects the food, because number one, it's not expressed as a neder, and number two, it's expressed as a shvua, as an oath, and number two, you can't make an oath by the life of a carbon. That's not how a shvua works. It's basically always by the existence of Hashem. That's what the meaning of a shvua is. To say I swear by the life of a carbon is not an effective shvua. That's why in the first two cases, we say the food is permissible. And in the last case, where the person said, not a carbon, that which I don't eat of yours, which implies that which I do eat of yours is a carbon, right? The double negative, not a carbon, what I don't eat of yours, which would imply a carbon, that which I do eat of yours, which, if that's what he would have said, that could have actually have been a good neder. However, the Mishnah still says in the beginning, mutter, it's permissible, because we're following the opinion of Reb Meir, and that is that we cannot, that we do not say that the negative implies a positive, to be able to say that it's as if we have the positive being expressed here. Okay, that was yesterday's part of the Mishnah. Now the Mishnah goes on to the case. We started this a little bit yesterday, but again, we'll go through it. We'll go through again what we touched on and cover some more points that we didn't touch on. So shavua loy oichaloch. Here, the expression he says is a shvua, an oath. I will not eat of yours, which means the person is saying, I hereby make a shvua. I hereby make an oath that I will not eat your food. Or let's say he says shvua she'oichalach. Literally translated, here he's saying an oath. I will eat of yours. Sounds like an oath to eat. But that can't be what it means, as we're going to see that from the end of the Mishnah. And we'll explain soon what it does mean. Lo shvua lo yechalach, not a shvua, what I don't eat from yours, which implies that there should be a shvua regarding not a shvua, what I don't eat of yours, implies that there should be a shvua on what I would eat of yours. Usser. In all these cases, they are forbidden. All these expressions will bring about an effective shvua that will now forbid you on this food that you're referring to. He said, in all cases, he said always about yours, meaning he's trying to forbid the food on himself. So these expressions of a shvua are going to work. Now let's go through each one, because each one has something novel to it. So the first one is shvua lo oichalach. A shvua, I hereby make an oath, I will not eat of yours. That seemingly is a perfect shvua. That's how you make a shvua about anything. You express the word shvua, and you make the shvua about what you're going to do. And here he said shvua, I'm not going to eat. So it's a shvua, an oath that he's not going to eat. So what's novel here? So listen carefully. The Mishnah stated above that carbon, I will not eat of yours, is ineffective. Right? That was the first three words from the beginning of the Mishnah. Carbon lo oichalach, a carbon I will not eat of yours. Okay? That was not effective. And here we have the word shavua lo oichalach. A shvua I will not eat of yours. Now, why did the beginning of the Mishnah carbon I will not eat of yours. Why didn't it work? It didn't work because of the fact that expression really is saying, by the life of a carbon, I will not eat your food. And as we said before, that's neither a neder or a shvua. Right? That's what we said. When you say carbon lo yechalach, that means by the life of the carbon, I will not eat of yours. That's an ineffective way of making a shvua. Now here the person said, shvua lo yechalach. Shvua, I will not eat of yours. So maybe we should, maybe why don't we say that those words imply, by the life of the shvua, I will not eat of yours. Just like we said before, when the word carbon was at the beginning of the phrase, carbon lo yechalach meant, yeah, he's making a shvua, but he's saying, by the life of the carbon, I want to eat of yours, and that's ineffective. So when he says shvua lo yechalach, maybe he means, by the life of the shvua, I want to eat of yours, and that wouldn't be effective either. And on that, the answer is that we would not translate this statement in that way. Why is that? So let me read to you from the bottom. However, this person certainly did not mean by the life of a shvua. That's not intention. Because a shvua does not physically exist. It's merely a legal concept. Meaning, when you say by the life of a carbon is a thing. It exists. It's an object. It exists. So then, when he says carbon lo yechalach, we can say, we say that what does he mean? We understand what he means is, by the life of the carbon, I won't eat of yours. Okay, that's ineffective, but that's what he means. But no one's ever gonna say, by the life of the shua, I won't eat of yours. A shua doesn't live, it's a concept. And therefore, we understand that he doesn't mean by the life of the shua, but rather, I'm making a shua. And therefore, it's effective. The next part where you said shvua sha'echalach, where he said shvua I will eat of yours. Now that sounds like he's making a shvua that he's going to eat. But the Mishnah said asr. The Mishnah says it's forbidden. So what's going on? So on that, they explain like this. Our Mishnah, which understands the statement as prohibiting the food, refers to a specific case, namely, where one person was offering his food to another and trying to persuade him to eat it. The second person kept refusing it. And eventually he said, shvua sha'echalach. This guy's badgering him to eat, and he keeps saying, I don't want to eat it. So what does he say? Shvua sha'echalach. In that context, we understand that what he means to say is that he means to say, I'm not going to eat it. And the way these words should be understood as a shvua be upon me if I eat it. Meaning not the way you would just take the words themselves, a shvua that I will eat, which is a shvua to eat. In this context, he's saying, a shvua upon me if I eat this thing of yours, which is a way of saying I make a shvua that it's forbidden. And therefore, that's why the Mishnah said in this case, asr is forbidden. The last case also has a very interesting idea, a novel idea to it. Because the last case of this part of the Mishnah is, lo shvua lo echalach, not a shvua when I don't eat of yours, right? Implied that there should be a shvua upon what I do eat of yours, right? From the negative, I understand the positive. Now, in the beginning of the Mishnah, we didn't say that. In the beginning of the Mishnah, loy carbon lo yechalach, not a carbon that what I don't eat of yours, which implies it should be a carbon what I eat of yours. The Mishnah still says mutter, it's permissible. And we said, because according to Rebbe Meir, you cannot deduce the positive from the negative. But here we're doing it. In this part of the Mishnah we are, because loy shua lo yechalach is asr. Not a shvua, what I don't eat of yours, is forbidden because we understand you to say that what I do eat of yours, there is a shvua upon it not to eat. So what's going on? So let's read it from the notes. Reb Meir's rule that a negative cannot be assumed to imply a positive. Now again, they don't explain why it is this way, but this is the difference. Reb Meir's rule that a negative cannot be assumed to imply a positive relates only to monetary matters and to prohibitions of a monetary type. It is not relevant to prohibitions that have no monetary aspect to them. As such, the rule applies to Nedarim, which prohibit an object that has monetary value, such as your food is forbidden to me, but does not apply to shavuos, to an oath, which are directed at actions, I will not eat your food. In regard to shavuos, therefore, the Meir rules that a positive can indeed be inferred from a negative. That's the idea. What's the difference? I'm not sure. But once you're dealing with something monetary, meaning it's not a monetary law here. But once you're dealing with something that is monetary, that has a monetary value, like an object, then Reb Meir says that the negative is not going to, you cannot infer the positive from the negative. But in the case of a shua, where there's no object involved, it's always actions that you're making forbidden. In that situation, when you say that, with the third statement that you say, this which I do not is not that which I do, basically what he's saying is that which I do not eat is not prohibited, that implies that which I do eat is prohibited. And since we're not dealing with an object, something of anything that has a connection to monetary value, all right, there's no monetary aspect to this. That's the way they have the word here. No monetary aspect to it. Then we can say that when he says lo shvua lo yechalach, which means not a shvua, I will not eat of yours. That implies that there should be a shvua on what I do eat of yours, and therefore, although it's inferred, it's going to work. Because since we're not involved in any kind of monetary, anything that has any kind of monetary aspect to it, therefore, even Reb Meir says that I can infer from the double negative the positive of sorts that says that, which means to say that I will not, that there's a shvua that I will not eat what is yours. Okay, so again, the last part of the Mishnah, lo shvua lo eichalach, is saying that it's a double negative, that not a shvua, I will not eat of yours, which implies that which I do eat of yours has a shvua on it, meaning the shvua in the negative, a shvua in forbidding. That is inferred, but according to Reb Meir, here by a shvua, we can infer in order to make the shvua be effective. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.